Well, hello. Welcome. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. This is Nora Knows, and I'm your horse. I just had lunch, guys. You'd think my brain would be. I'm the host, Nora Ames. Yeah. This is going to be something. We'll just go with that. It's going to be something. Once I'm done fucking with my microphone here. There we go. That should do it. Just kidding. I had to do it some more. Oh my goodness, guys. We are going to talk about it. I hope you guys were able to see the thumbnail. That is an email I sent to John Atack. To find out if he, in fact, is participating in an OSA op to review bomb Scientology authors. Oh, Georgia, thank you for being here for 19 months. Holy cow, almost 2 years at Wackadoodle. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Let's dive into this here. I did a stream a couple weeks ago about the review bombing, that this wasn't just happening on, Jamie Mustard's book, Child X, which, shamelessly I have here. We're just going to, there, it's with me. No, it's not with me because the background is messing it up. I have to take off the background. Let's just, can we blur it? No, you guys can see I'm in a room. I haven't decorated the background yet. That's fine. So here's the book. And there we go. That's the book, Child X. We're going to be talking about it today. Child X. Okay. So like any good investigative journalist, of course, I have to verify. And you guys saw from the thumbnail, my question was, did you write this? Or are they using your name as part of this OSA op? I did get a response, okay, from Mr. Atack. But let's first, and I haven't read the whole review. I was sent a portion of it. I was like, I'm not even going to read that. I want to know if this is really him. So this is a review that John Atack gave. And we're going to go right to the source here. This is, let's share this page here. This is from Amazon where he did this review. And the review bombing is taking place on Amazon as well as Goodreads. Okay. And we're going to go over both of those here. Okay. So this is Jamie's book. It's got a lot of very good reviews. Okay. Very, very in-depth, good reviews here. Okay. And it gives you all these other suggested books. First of all, Scandal of Scientology. If you haven't read that by Paulette Cooper, please do. Lots of rave reviews. Editorial people. Love it. Here's a little bio of Jamie. Here's when the book came out earlier this year, obviously. Okay. Here's Jamie. You got to get a picture up here. All right. Related books. Again. Oh, Dianetics. No, it's not. And we're going to go all the way down. Here's people with their, look at all these cute people. Okay. So this is, oh, look at this. It's all excellent. So if you go over to the reviews here, you see that it's 96% 5-star reviews. And then let's just go to the 1-star. Let's just look. Oh, and there it is. There it is. So let's read this first. And like I said, I have not read this. So you guys are only going to see part of what I'm reading here. I'm going to see the whole thing, but I'm going to read it to you and give you my live in the now reaction. Okay. Now, for those of you who don't know, John Atack is also a former Scientologist. Let's just go over that here real quick. Okay. John Atack is a former Scientologist. He has been speaking out for decades now. He wrote an excellent book, A Piece of Blue Sky, which I don't have. Guys, as you can see behind me, I haven't finished setting up this office, so I need to do that. But he wrote that book. Uh, at the time in 1986, when he wrote the book, it was one of the most prolific and important books of note about Scientology, about L. Ron Hubbard, and about their practices. Um, since John Atack was involved, and this is historically accurate as well as my opinion, but also, yeah, John Atack was heavily involved in the Lafayette Ronald era of Scientology, so like OG era. And oh no, Irish. I got an email confirming it is John Atack. I'm going to read you that email after. Or maybe we'll read the email first. Maybe we should we read the email first and then we'll go into it? Yeah, we'll read the email first. So, yeah. So John, he was in the OG Hubbard era. The rainbows and kittens were changing the world. Were helping all mankind. He was not involved in Scientology during the golden David Miscavige era. Right, he's been out of Scientology longer than he was in it at this point. That is not to say that his book is now irrelevant or off topic or bad. It is not. But it is a reflection of his experience in Scientology as an adult who entered Scientology. Okay. As are a majority of the other books written about Scientology, people were young adults. And I say young adults like they were 18, 19, 20, before 25. Okay. And their experience is completely different than anyone born into any echelon inside or outside of the fake space Navy. Okay. And you cannot, that's a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Just like a child who grew up in a household in the 1950s will have a different human experience than a child who grew up in the 1980s. Okay. That's just a fact. That's not an opinion. Okay. So let's read John's response to me. Right now. Okay. So let me put that up here. Okay. So this is the email. Let me take off my QR code here. If you guys can donate, please do. I'm going to take that off probably for until the end of the stream here when we're just talking. Okay. So John says, "Dear Nora, yes, indeed. I wrote it after reading every word of Mustard's book. I do not understand why he pretends he didn't go back to Scientology or why he urges hatred towards anyone who was not born into the Sea Org. On page 148, I've now got it to page 148. Quote, today it is the former members who built the movement who are killing us. Their denial while pretending to be our allies crushes our minds. They are devils. I am not a devil. I've spent 42 years exposing Scientology and helping those harmed by it. We should turn our efforts towards helping the current 4,000 slaves in the fake space Navy and the 40 million slaves in the world. There's not that many Scientologists, John. Rather than fomenting hatred between those born in and those tricked in. Regards, John." Okay. Yeah. Okay. Um, mm, So that's what he said. So let's go to page 148 where that quote was. Okay. And it's unfortunate that he cherry picked those phrases from that, because it's not the whole concept. So let's go back. I'm going to go back just to the beginning of this thought here. Okay. We're going to go to page 147. Okay. In this tiny house in Echo Park, we were the children of the movement, pseudo Navy kids, movement rich kids, and the motorcycle boys, all very disparate situations that have one thing in common. We all had parents who were making their children's needs secondary to salvaging the planet and achieving their own spiritual salvation. We normalized the emotional disconnection between us and our parents. All this because our parents knew with absolute certainty that past lives were a fact, making this life less important. When I think about heaven, sorry, I lost my place. Living a life of deprivation now to live in a glorious afterlife, it always sounded preposterous to me. But we children of the movement were doing the same thing. The parents had lived millions of lives before and would live millions of lives in the future. Their kids would be their parents, and their kids would be their husbands and their lovers and their wives. Any relationship of this life was but a drop of water in an ocean of interactions between eternal spirits. They had lived countless lives and would continue to live future lives. It wasn't faith or belief to them, it was science, as irrefutable as gravity. I witnessed children understanding that they are one being out of trillions of lives. Being born one of millions of children one has had before and would have in the future leads to depression, suicide, eventually self-harm in some form, no matter who you are. The kids of the private Navy and the non-Navy kids are the same in this way. While their brains are still forming through the mind training, they learn to detach from and deny the body. Emotions were not allowed. They were told they were trillions of years old gods at 5. To this day, former members of the movement will not acknowledge the destruction of their children, insisting it was the commander and his doctrine that did the damage. The psychological manipulation has often turned our adult minds as children of the Apollo into paranoid rage. I know now parents are the first line of decision against children, the first line of defense against children. That's why I believe that the children of the revolution are ultimately responsible. The parents chose to join the movement. The parents who chose to believe their children were the commander's children. The parents who clamored for machine-based counseling as the solution for the natural chaos of growing children. The former members that built the movement were saying to their children that the parents' own freedom was the most important thing in the world. The inconveniences of this lifetime and the pain it created for their children were nothing in the shadow of their own infinity. That certainty, like a cigarette smoke blown in your face, is a silent killer. What would it do to a person to be the child of a parent who thought of them as one of a million children over a millennium? What would this do to their self-esteem, their state of mind, when they were too young to process it? To make the Save the World omelet, the movement might have to crack a few skulls. However, I believe today that it is the former members who built the movement in the 1970s, denying our pain while pretending to be on our side, who are killing us. They believe we're all just ex-members like them. They believe our child experience means nothing. Their denial, while pretending to be our allies, crushes our minds. They are devils. Now, when you read that, John and everyone else who wants to cherry pick very alarming words from, a couple paragraphs, it's a little bit different. And what it tells me in John's email, and we're going to get into his review here, the first telling thing is that John is very upset about being called a devil. That's the biggest insult apparently that's ever happened to him. He's a devil. While he continues to do the thing that Jamie so eloquently described in those 3 or 4 paragraphs. Now, let's get to the review here. Let's get to the review because I'm sure it's going to be so much better. I'm kidding. Here we go. This is the review, okay? And it is from John Atack. This is his review. You can go to Amazon. I'll put the link here so you guys can read along. That's the review. Go ahead and click the link. You guys can check it out. At birth, Jamie Mustard's mother abandoned him in what he calls Scientology's baby factory in Los Angeles. Hundreds of children around the globe suffered shameful neglect from the few, quote, nannies tasked with their care. Mustard's story is harrowing. I can confirm from interviews with him and others subjected to this heinous system that this account of deprivation and mistreatment is accurate. That should have been the full review, John. Right there. I can confirm from interviews with him and others subjected to this heinous system that his account of deprivation and mistreatment is accurate. End of review, John. This is a 1-star review, guys, by the way. 1 star from John Atack. Although his mother took him away from the movement, as he calls Scientology, he chose to return at age 15. He chose to return at age 15 to fulfill, let's think of the mindset here, to fulfill his billion-year contract in Scientology's sailor-suited sea organization. I'm sorry. For everyone who's had a child, who's responsible for a child, who is parenting a child, when the fuck is your child choosing to commit themselves for 1 billion years to anything? How is that a child's choice? When the fuck is it okay for a child whose brain is not developed? Oh, now you guys can see the whole thing. Okay. When is it okay for a child whose brain is not developed to make the choice to commit himself, a 15-year-old who's, they're not even done with puberty. Their brain is not formed. They are not able to make a lifetime commitment to anything. John still doesn't see children as children. He does not know what that means. But apparently, children are able to fulfill their commitment. The first time he signed a Sea Org contract, he was like 4. So now he's committed. A 4-year-old scribbles fucking something in crayon on a bullshit, non-legal, non-binding contract, and now they have to fulfill it? That's called slavery. That's called slavery. That's called child abandonment. It's illegal. Okay? So a 15-year-old who will be homeless if he doesn't commit to this billion-year contract and will never see his parents again, decided to do the thing that he'd been programmed to do since birth. He was not given choices. Like this is, I'm feeling rage right now. I'm feeling rage. Okay? Rage. Literal rage. Okay, let's let's keep going with this, whatever this is. Good grief. He collected millions of dollars selling the group's highest level of hypnotic inductions, the subject of my own recent Scientology, If Scientology Ruled the World, another book from John, before escaping at age 19. He says that in the book. He says that that's one of his biggest regrets, that he went and fucking stumped for them and tricked people out of millions of dollars. This is not a revelation, John. This is not news. You're not breaking some news that Jamie was a fucking, salesperson for the, Lafayette's fever dream that takes place on a boat. Okay? Like, give me a break. Mustard says that he was illiterate in every way, but could read. Okay. Like most children of the movement, that is correct. That is correct. Now John's a doctor. Here we go. This is properly agraphia, the inability to write rather than illiteracy. Can we look this up? I don't even know what this is. But John, because he's British, he knows everything. Listen, it's graphia. That's what he's got. He's got agraphia. It's not illiteracy. He's agraphic. One of those things. He's one of those people who's can read, but he can't write. Right? So, it's not illiteracy. Like, I'm doing him like he's Billy Idol. It's not illiteracy. It's just agraphia. Right? Agraphia is an acquired disorder characterized by the loss of the ability to write. So, John, no. Try Googling these words before you do it. Typically resulting from a brain injury, stroke, or progressive illness. No, when a child is not taught to use their hand to write things, they cannot write. This is why cursive is disappearing in our society, because everybody is typing shit all the time now. Okay? So if you never practice the handwriting, you never develop those pathways in your brain to do, you cannot write. It does not make sense to you. There's plenty of people who are functionally literate in a language where they can speak it and they can understand it, but they cannot write it and they cannot read it. Fucking hell. I know you're not all know-alls, Beachcomber. I know. All British people are not also Billy Idol, right? With the face like this. And they're not all from Liverpool. But that's the best, British accent I can do. It's just so like, yeah, right. Listen, I like your banter. This banter is fun. Right. That's my favorite British word, banter. If you watch guys, I'm totally having an ADHD moment, but if you watch any show with British people, like especially a dating show, they're like, she's got to have good banter. Like, I can't get with a bird who has no banter. Meanwhile, these guys can't talk about anything, but I love banter. Dick Van Dyke. Oh, his fake British accent in Mary Poppins. Yeah. Righto. This is how British people talk. Okay, so clearly John Atack doesn't know what this word means. All right. This is not, yeah. Also, you're not a fucking brain doctor. Don't diagnose people with shit that you clearly don't know the definition of. Okay, let's get back to this. The inability to write rather than illiteracy. Well, what is the... Let's look this up. God, I can't type. What does it mean when someone can read but not write? What is that called, Google? Google says dysgraphia, you fucking idiot. Not agraphia. It's not graphia, it's dysgraphia. Right. a specific disorder that affects writing, but they can still read. This is different from being literate in the traditional sense, as some dictionaries, as you say in England, may define the term as being able to read and write. A person might be considered semi-literate because they can read, but writing is a struggle. Okay? Dysgraphia is a neurological disorder that makes writing difficult, affecting things like handwriting. Dyslexia, right? That's what Tom Cruise supposedly got cured of from word clearing in Scientology. Educational or environmental factors. A person may have been taught to read in a way that prioritized reading skills over writing skills, or they may have had limited educational opportunities that only focused on basic reading. Guys, this is how we're in the year of our Lord 2025. If you cannot Google, what does it mean when someone can read but not write, and then get the right fucking word for your very pompous bullshit review, I don't know what to tell you. This is embarrassing. You are a man in your 70s and you want to throw around big words like you're still a Hubbardite, like that means something to have a $5 word in your back pocket, okay? And then not even use the right $5 word. Come on. With his remarkable grandma's support, Mustard overcame his, no, what did we learn, kids? What did we learn? It's dysgraphia, not agraphia. I'm going to correct John here. I'm just going to correct him. And graduated from the celebrated London School of Economics. Unfortunately, his book literally demonizes escapees from Scientology who did not share the misfortune of being born into the group. No, it correctly places responsibility on those who were adults and condoned the abuse of children who did not do anything about it, who thought it was totally normal for people to be interrogated by children, for children to be working 10 plus hours a day, for children to be left alone with a psychotic megalomaniac who was high on everything, telling people, yes, you too are a god. Well, thank you for listening. Yeah, come on. If people saw Lafayette Ronald Hubbard on the street now, he would just be locked up because suspicious. Like, are you joking? Are we joking? This is insanity. This is nuts. That this is like, I mean, like, listen, be honest. Be honest, guys. I had to look at the pictures of this man for my whole life, everywhere I went, all of the places, okay? And so the heyday, the time where John Atack and all these other people were completely, okay, my British accent is terrible. I'll work on it. Well, you know, it's London or Liverpool. Yeah, no, I got to work on it. I haven't done a British accent in a long time. You want some water? Hey, Gav, fetch us a pint of water. Water. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the like slangy British. It's not the posh, you know, it's not poshy posh. Yeah. But this is the guy, okay? So we have to think back in the 50s and in the early 60s. This is the fucking guy that this is the dude. This is the guy. Okay? Yeah. Like there's no good pictures of Lafayette. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. He thought he was a good-looking guy. Like, if you saw this guy, let me pull this up here. If you saw, no, go back. Ew. I just want that. Give me that. If you saw this guy rocking down the street okay, with this non-affiliated stolen valor Navy cap on and his fucking ascot, smoking a pack of fucking cools. This is not a trustworthy looking guy. Like, look at him. This is not somebody they're like, yeah, I'm gonna turn my kids over to this one for 1 billion years. He looks like a nurturer. He looks like somebody who just loves children so much. And he didn't drive around in a creepy windowless van, guys. He was just at sea on boats. Totally fine. Totally fine. Oh, you want the aviator glasses one? Okay, Peter. Only for you. Let me see if I can find it. See if I can find him with the aviators. There we go. This guy. This guy. This guy. This is the one that they want. This is the dude. This dude. Look at that. Right? That's the guy. This is the guy who thought it all up. Look at him with his fake wings on. What the fuck is that? What in the fuck? Did you get that when you were just a little tot and they started giving out the wings to the good boys on the plane? Oh, you were just such a good boy on this plane. Here's your little wings. Good job. It's giving very gay. Gay? Yeah. Yeah. That's the guy. That's the guy that they're like, yeah, he's the guy with the plan. My God. Let's get back to this. We're not even done with this review, guys. Let's get back to the review for fuck's sake. So now he's quoting again. It's the same quote. He just copy pasted from his review. Today, it is the former members who built the movement, ... who are killing us, ... Their denial while pretending to be our allies crushes our minds. They are devils. Now, as you guys heard me say, when I read this, okay, there's a lot more to that quote than just that. Okay? There's a lot more to that quote than just that. I'll get back to this here. Although he points out that Scientology uses Maoist brainwashing techniques, he says that recruits choose to join. Mustard also insists that no one has spoken out about the abuse of children in Scientology. Though this is a run-on sentence, John. There should be a period there. Like, if we're going to start critiquing stuff, let's get the grammar correct here, okay? Though in 2023, he assured me he'd read my 1990 book, Let's Sell These People a Piece of Blue Sky, more commonly known as Piece of Blue Sky, but that is the full title of his book from 1990. I was incorrect earlier. I said 1986. He wrote it in 1990, which is not the only place where I've documented such abuse. Sadly, he makes no case to expose the current Scientology operation and fails to even mention the current 4,000 Sea Org organization slaves. There are not that many Sea Org members in the planet, let alone the 40 million slaves. There are not that many Scientologists. Accounted by the UN. The UN isn't counting Scientologists. Oh, in the contemporary world. John, this book is about Jamie's life, okay? In Scientology, okay? A memoir of slavery, poverty, celebrity, and Scientology. This was not a book about slavery worldwide. And in someone's memoir, they can choose to comment about the current state in South Sudan or Gaza, or even our, jail industrial complex in America, which is modern day slavery, or not. Because the focus of this book was the history of Jamie, his family, Scientology, and his, the connections between all those things. Maybe a commentary on overall slavery was not in the books, but also John Atack, as a white, elder British man, maybe don't tell a black man how he should talk about slavery. That's a hot take. Maybe a symbol of white colonialism and the slave trade itself should not tell a descendant of American slavery, literally, how to talk about slavery. I don't think that's your place. I don't think that's your place, John. And just to be totally honest, guys, I've not read this. This is my live first response reaction. I may have more reactions after I think about it, but whew. The twist in this tale is that Jamie Mustard actually returned to Scientology after receiving his university degree. Let's clarify that. Oh, thank you so much for being a member for 12 months. Yeah, that's a good question, Ozzy. If John was tricked into Scientology, why didn't Scientology trick the rest of the population? Or was it just him who was able to be tricked? Yeah, good questions. After receiving his university degree in a Scientology, now there should have been a comma and a lowercase I, in a Scientology directory for 2004, 21 years ago. 21 years ago. 10 years after his supposed escape. No, John. I have to take a second. I am so livid. John, he did escape the Sea Organization. That is something you literally have to Mission Impossible yourself out of in order to be free of it. He didn't say in the book that he escaped Scientology. He said he escaped the fucking fake space navy. Tell me you didn't read the book without telling me you didn't read the book. Mustard listed his art gallery as a Scientology enterprise. Correct. Where he employed fellow Scientologists and tithed to the cult. That is incorrect. That he does talk about the fact that he was still involved in Scientology for many years. But John wants to go to, the OSA information, the Office of Special Affairs information. But Jamie, remember when you were one of us? Do you remember that? And you were giving us money, sweet, sweet money. And all your friends were Scientologists. And you gave us money. Remember that? Remember the good old days? Yes. Why didn't you talk about that, Jamie? Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you tell everyone you did that naughty, naughty thing? The book has a litany of factual errors. For instance, placing Charlemagne in 634 AD in the wrong century. This is where the British is getting very British. Imagine putting Charlemagne in 634 AD. Are you daft? Charlemagne. Oh my God. And giving an exact date for a Saxon raid 1558 years before his birth. Madness. Marching in close formation. Like, how could he even know what the formation was of the Saxons 1500 fucking years ago when he wasn't even born yet? Like, this is just mad. It's simply just bonkers. I don't know. It's like, why would you say things? Why would you say things? They're called the Dark Ages because there are very few records. Right? Like, I'm from England. If we want an old shit, we just go over to Oxford and like say, can you hand me some old stuff so I can like make my point to these daft Americans who don't know nothing? You know, just hand me one of them dusty books off the shelf and, you know, I'll fucking get them right in the head. Right? He says that the town of East Grinstead is a small hamlet. It is. It's a small town. Confusing it with Hubbard St. Hill, and that its name derives from a place where one shows one's teeth, rather than the widely documented Green Place. Well, let's just look that up. Let's just have fun. Let's Google it. Let's Google it. Let's Google it. Where's the derivation of East Grinstead? What the fuck does it mean? Fucking hell. Derivation of East Grinstead. Let's see. It comes from Old English. That's right, like my gaff. For green place or green clearing. The east part was added to distinguish it from West Grinstead, right? Right. Okay. I don't know where he got that tidbit from. Maybe from his mate at the pub. It's just like, you don't even know what East Grinstead is, so the rest of your book is rubbish. It's fucking, it's, you know, it's shit. It's, you know, fuck off. That's John doing the review. Fuck off. Just get fucked. Such information perhaps derives from the Scientology belief that imagination is reality. Imagination is reality. John, Mr. ATAC. What? This is a factual error. Correct. It's not, you're not incorrect. Thank you. And I was just about to say this is like, it's like you took the words out of my mouth. His publishers and editors should have caught that. That's their literal fucking job. That's why you pay editors and publishers money. Because they have to fact check it. So who's the publisher? Who published this fucking book? Who did it? Where are you? Okay, Ben Bella Books. That's who published it. It's their fault. Write a fucking letter to them, John. Idiot. He believes that his past life memory is accurate. No, John, he wasn't having a Scientology session where he's forced into this imaginary realm of past lives. This raises doubts about his credibility. No, John, it just tells me you didn't read the fucking book. Like you asked ChatGPT, what's wrong with this book? What facts are wrong here? And does he call me the devil? Fucking hell. This book has an agenda. It has an agenda. It is a call to action by those born in the cult against those tricked into joining it. Wow, John. I think your responsibility level on the actions of your life is in the negative and subjected to systematic thought reform. Okay, so you were a mind slave. You have no responsibility in the things you physically did to contribute to that motion, to contribute to Scientology's growth. Toby, I'm unalive. Sorry, my dogs are barking. Hang on. Come here. Shush. Go on. Quiet. Go on. Out. Shush. about this book has an agenda. It's a call to action by those born into the cult against those tricked into joining it and subjected to systematic thought reform. It should be read with caution. John, Jamie's book is not arsenic. It is not a non-FDA approved medication. It is not Scientology. It is the exact opposite. It should be read with caution. I guess only by people who might have to face up to their responsibility in the enslavement, neglect, and horrific abuse of children. You condoned it, John. You were part of it. You were part of it, John. Mustard is economical with the truth and careless of facts. No, it should be with. You can't just throw an of in there, John. It's wrong. Clearly, you did not do Key to Life. This book is more about retribution than redemption. Okay, that's wow. What this tells me, kids, what this tells me is this is the classic for everyone who didn't grow up in a cult like me and Jamie. If you have boomer parents, please put a 1 in the chat. If you are a boomer, I love you anyway. And your parents were the silent generation, no better. But if you grew up in a home where people said phrases like, well, when I was a kid, we had regular beatings and you only get one once a month. So you should thank your lucky stars that I'm only giving you the belt once a month. Okay. Oh, go to Fawcett. Thank you for being a member for 12 months. Appreciate you. Okay. Generational abuse, generational trauma is real. This is something that for generations we did not understand, know, or have a name for. Okay. We are in the middle of collectively healing from that now. Okay. We are in the middle of collectively healing from that now. And it's a lot. Our children have fucking Google and they have all these resources and they go to therapy and all this other shit. And they're like, I feel like you're not acknowledging my feelings right now. And I think that is child abuse. And you're like, I'm sorry, what the fuck words did you just say? That's it. You're insane. You're an insane person. That's where we're at now. We've tipped the scales all the way over. And somewhere in the middle is the truth. Okay. The truth about Scientology. Okay. If we're just going to fucking lay it out there. The truth about Scientology is that it is a concept, a construct of hypnotism, mind control, self-deprecation, and hypnotism. I think I said that already. That seeks only to like a succubus, take all of your life force, your ambition, your goals, your purpose, your anything that is it could be assigned to you as an emanation point, and give it all to Lafayette and do everything that he thinks up or says to do with no questions asked. You lose your autonomy, you lose your right? I thank you, Shat's page. I think all these teenagers would have us burned at the stake as witches. Yeah. Yeah, when my kids get sassy, I'm like, how about cash me outside? How about that? Anyone, whether you now in your elderly years, like, what happened? That whole Scientology thing that I was a part of for many years and, became a high-ranking member and affected hundreds and thousands of people for years to come. They fucking tricked me, right? Like it was, they fucking bamboozled me. That's crazy. I was tricked into thinking that I was helping people. And Turns out it was just a trick. Like, you're so close. You're so close. Yes, you can say it was a trick. I got tricked into it. Uh-oh, hot dog. I accidentally joined a cult for years and like helped people to abuse their children. Oh no, that's crazy. Pass the butter. No. Even if your initiation into Scientology was via a false pretense, you still did it. Every time you learned a new skill, you didn't go, what the fuck is this? Is this fucking for real? Okay, I guess we're going to fucking do that now. No, you went along with it. You kept doing it. You kept progressing. You kept on going until what? Till one day you asked a question you weren't supposed to ask. And then, because they didn't consider you very important, they tossed you to the side, John. And then, outside of the bubble that you were putting yourself back into every day, okay? No one was forcing you. You weren't part of the C organization. You didn't sign the billionaire contract. You willingly walked back into that organization, into that building, and put yourself in those chairs and put yourself in front of other people to practice Scientology. You did that every day for all those years. No one came to hunt you down. No one locked you in a room for days. Okay? You were not trafficked from place to place against your will. You were not forced to do hard labor because you had a difference of opinion. And you left. You went and had a whole fucking life. Okay? And now, in your reflective time, you want to pass judgment on people who, from the moment they were born, were not loved or cared for as a newborn child should be. You've even acknowledged that in your review, that it is an accurate account of that. But that fact alone, John, doesn't move you to think, wow, I was a part of that. That was going on where I was. And how the fuck did I not know that? That would be a normal human reaction. But someone who is still firmly of the belief that they are right, and anyone else who says something about the thing they've declared themselves to be an expert on is wrong, I hope, John, before you pass, and I don't think that will be anytime soon, you seem very healthy and spry, that you take an opportunity, as I do hope with all of the people of your generation who involve themselves in Scientology, avail yourself of some humble pie, of some, hey, maybe I fucking hurt a lot of people. Maybe if I had spoken out to the government at the time when I first read these things and told them about all the children that were sitting there in the places that I was, maybe it would have stopped. Maybe Jamie and Nora would have, their parents would have been kicked out because Scientology didn't exist anymore. Maybe all these other children that were born later wouldn't even, be here because their parents would have broken up, or maybe they would have been born into a normal family where they went to regular school and they were children. That's a lot of people's lives, John, to think about that you had an effect on. But that's a fact. And you didn't have a positive impact. And yes, you've written good works, and you've been very harsh critic of Hubbard and of David Miscavige. Okay. Golf clap. Golf clap. Because guess what? If L. Ron Hubbard was lecturing to an empty hall and had no followers, had no devotees, had no worshipers, Scientology wouldn't exist. Same thing for David Miscavige. If he didn't have indentured servants, no one would give two shits about what he said. What's this, Aussie? Oh, thank you, Aussie. Most of these people would not protest Scientology because they were scared, told others not to do it, but to look what protesting has done in the last 2 to 3 years. Correct, Aussie. Correct. Yeah, maybe it's 1993. We got to get all these facts correct, Schatz page. 1993. John Atac's going to come from, it was 1993, not 92. Right. Yeah, maybe that wouldn't have happened. But let's go further. We're going to go a little further. Okay. I want to bring up this memory here for John Atac. We're going to bring up a memory. Memories. I like the corner of my mind. Misty watercolored memories. Okay. This is a video on John Atac's channel from a year ago. I need to put up my other thing here. Okay. We're just going to watch just a teeny tiny bit of this. Just a teeny tiny bit of this. And I got to put up my other thing. And I'm going to read this out loud here under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so let's show this video here. Okay, we're just gonna. I feel like I need to. Is this gonna make it better? No, that doesn't make it better. Does this make it better? Yes, that makes it better. Okay, here we go. We're gonna let's just see how this video starts here.
Hi, John. So nice to see you again after so long. It's been a
like
bit of a
year.
delay.
Yeah, you've been avoiding me all this time.
Oh, yes.
Okay, here we go. This is his little intro here.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Atac.
Oh, I have to put it back because I always watch everything at almost 2x speed or whatever. So let me put it back here. All right. And now we're going to hear John's real accent, not the one I've been doing. Here we go. Now, the name of this video is Mike Rinder Answers Miriam Francis's Allegations. Specifically, for those of you who are, new to this, Miriam Francis had a real bone to pick that Mike Rinder, and this is back before he was on his deathbed, and RIP to Mike, that when he was part of Child USA, he orchestrated a first of its kind look back window for sexual abuse survivors that he did not tell specifically Miriam Francis or any other Scientological sexual abuse survivor about. She also had several other things that she had bones to pick with him. And here we go. Let's get into it.
And this is Mike Rinder. Hi, Mike.
Hi, John. So nice to see
Now, just look how happy both of these men are to talk about not helping sexual abuse victims. It's already gross.
you again after so long.
It's
been
something
a
like
bit of a
year.
delay.
Yeah, you've been avoiding me all this time.
You've been avoiding,
yes,
avoiding
I
me. I forgot John talks
studiously
like
avoiding
this.
you.
Yeah, just because you had cancer, it's no excuse, Mike.
Papa Smurf had cancer. Okay.
Well, we find ourselves in the middle of a conflagration.
It's a configuration. I don't know how to say that. It's just it's a configuration.
Where fundamentally, since
How can I look at him looking up to the right, guys? That is a telltale per the CIA and all the other shows I've watched. When you're looking up to the right, isn't that when you're lying, or is it to the left? Anyway,
reconcilable differences separated Aaron
see, and then Mike remembered this is a serious interview. He got his serious face on real quick.
Smith-Levin from the Aftermath Foundation, a
Mm.
war has brewed.
Oh no, there's a war afoot. There's a war at brew here. Now that you've kicked Aaron off the Aftermath that he formed, and now he's formed the SPTV Foundation, there's a war about. Oh no.
And there are people, devoted people on both sides. It is my hope, after 40 years of dealing with the mess that Scientology creates, it is my hope to not take sides, and to try and, further what is good for all concerned.
Right.
What we have here is a three-cornered fight, and I've been given a lot of questions by Miriam Francis, and we both.
For everyone who's asking me to stop interrupting it, I have to, or I can be severely copyright struck. So I hope John doesn't do that, but that's up to him. It's up to him. But yeah, we'll do this. We'll make it even smaller. And if I maximize, oh, that made it big. How do we'll go back. I can't move that. I wish I had more controls here on Restream. I'll put my QR code back up and then that'll cover part of it. Okay. This is the most I can do, guys, to just make it my own. Yeah, immediately took a side.
Have publicly expressed our sympathy for her situation, which is dreadful. And
it's dreadful. It's dreadful to find out that her own father was abusing her. It's just dreadful. No, it's fucking disgusting, John. And you were a part of that. Mike Rinder was a part of it. He's the guy who covered it up. And you're just like, oh, it was just dreadful, wasn't it? Was that hard for you? Was that hard for you to work so hard to just ship her father all over the place and keep him from the law? Like, that should have been the question.
Brought to justice. The awful things that he did.
Yeah. I hope he's brought to justice. The man you're interviewing could go to Australia and give evidence and fucking put that man away forever, but he didn't do it.
She said, that even though Scientology is an aspect of this, and people will keep saying, remember that there's Scientology there, that there should be justice for anybody who's been involved in anything that has harmed children. I agree with that.
Why is Mike making the asshole face?
You agree with that point of view too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And she's pointing the finger very much at you. I would like to say that
Mike is mad.
Estimation, there are between 3,000 and 4,000 people who are being held as slaves today in the Scientology organization.
No.
Under the name of the Sea organization. They are slaves. You understand that better than
Why is Mike smiling about that?
Anybody understands it because of the time that you spent being a slave.
Yeah, you were a slave too, Mike. Also, you were a slave. Also, you were a slave who was promoted to the guard of the slaves and the chief abuser of the slaves. But you were still a slave. You were still a slave. Don't forget that, Mike. You were a slave. No, bitch! You were the fucking guard of Auschwitz. That's what Mike Rinder was. Come on.
Of Ron Hubbard and later of David Miscavige. We must not forget that. And
Thank you, Ozzy. Facts. Both of these men knew there was a royal commission into child abuse within churches in Australia and never informed any of the victims of Scientology who could be part of it. Okay? Like I said, we're not going to watch this whole thing. Let's skip to the first question.
It actually started from the aftermath.
Any statute of limitations and any harm that is done to children, you should not be protected. You shouldn't be able to go 5 years or 10 years or any period of time and say,
I'm sorry, what?
Well, I'm no longer guilty.
Right.
Correct. So, John, let's do, John. Let's do a little Scientology here, John. What part of that can you be responsible for? What part of the systemic, grotesque, negligent, I'm trying to think of so many adjectives right now, but the child abuse, the child slavery, okay, can you be responsible for, John? What part of that? Any part? Is there some part of that just some tiny part that you can take responsibility for? Because you just said that nobody who does this should be able to like outlive, there shouldn't be like a limit on time when they should be held accountable for that. So what part of it can you be responsible for? My point in showing this, guys, is I just want to show that this is not a new thought. His review of Jamie's book is not a new thought from him. And the fact, and thank you, John, for emailing me back. Appreciate, absolutely, for you emailing me back personally. That's oh, sorry. I thought YouTube was sending me an alert that there was like something on here. Yeah, let me just bring that back up here for everybody. There we go. We'll just bring that. I just want to bring it back up for people who are just getting here. John Atack did, in fact, email me back and confirm this is him who wrote that review that we just went through. Yes, indeed, I wrote it. And then he quotes the part here, and wants to guilt me into not conquering slavery in the world, because, yeah, totally, I should be handling slavery. Apparently, that's my job. Yeah. 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 I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. Oh, okay. I have to. Oh, there we go. Stop screen sharing. Okay. It works. I figured it out. Yeah. So John Atack, knowingly or unknowingly, I'm going to say unknowingly, I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt, is participating in what's called review bombing right now on Goodreads and Amazon. So if you guys could do me a personal solid, okay? If you have bought the book, only if you haven't bought the book, guys, come on. Let me give, oh, Jesus Christ, Nora. Let me give you guys my link, okay? I have to make this bigger because I can't see nothing. Okay. And yes, I will get 3 whole cents if you purchase it from my link. Okay. Please go buy the book. That's the Amazon link, or go buy it from your local bookstore. And Powell's sells it as well. Okay. And if you have read the book and you haven't left a review on either Goodreads or Amazon, please go do that. Please go, go leave a review, an honest review. It doesn't have to be a 5-star review. Please just leave your review of like what you think about the book, honestly. Okay. What I don't understand is that this last sentence here, which I'm going to read again. Or it's not actually the last sentence. Oh, it's in the email to me, not in there. Let me just pull up his email. In his email to me, he says, yeah, we should turn our efforts towards helping the current 4,000 slaves in the Sea Organization and the 40 million slaves in the world, rather than fomenting hatred between those born in and those tricked in. John, your review is fomenting hatred. Your review is solidifying in some people's mind why the adult generation who joined Scientology willingly and then subjected an entire multiple generations of children now to this, why you're part of it and why you got to take responsibility. You're just making our point. You're making the point. Okay? Oh, thank you, Austrian Factor. Coffee on me for being the best entertaining streamer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, 3 cents is better than no cents. You are correct. Though since they stopped minting pennies, not sure what I'll get. Yeah, correct. I don't know. But maybe they'll round it up to 5 now. It's not about money for me, guys. It's about, you should read this book because it's a fucking life changer. It's the first book written by anybody with this lived experience, okay, of being born into what Jamie so eloquently coined the baby factory. And, thank you. Thank you for that, Silver Lining. Thank you to everybody who's donated on my GoFundMe. That's going to go right to my lawyer, Merritt McKeon. Thank you so much for that. My next court date is on the 20th. So yeah, that every cent goes to pay her retainer. Fucking menopause. God, it's stealing all my words from me. But yeah, and why do I know that? Was I born into this organization like Jamie? No. My mom was in the Guardian's office when I was born. And then, we had many adventures and my dad did things and they were both heavily involved in Scientology through my adolescence and, until my 20s and 30s and close to my 40s when I eventually got my mother out of Scientology. Okay. It took me 16 years as an insurgent in my own home to slowly get my mother, who'd been in when she left for 50 years. Okay. Other people who, like Jamie, were born into the baby factory. And for those of you who are like, I don't understand that, go back and go watch Going Clear. There's about a 2-minute segment, less than 2 minutes, that they dedicate to children born into Scientology. When Spanky Taylor tells the tale of her daughter and how she rescued her from the literal baby factory where Jamie grew up and the conditions that her daughter was in. Does everybody remember that? Let me see if I can find that on the YouTubes right now. I don't think I can show Going Clear. I will definitely get copyright struck for that. But if you go back and watch that movie, I believe it's on Netflix right now. This is true. John does do this. However, he still now wants to say he doesn't have any responsibility for all the other things that happened. You can't have it both ways. You can't be an expert on unfucking somebody's mind from cult control and everything else, right? And then go and tell people who were born into it, had no choice whatsoever, and then be like, oh, by the way, tough tits for you. You don't get to be mad at me because I got tricked into it. Like, come on. Give me a break. Question from Indie Queen Bee. What do I think of the idea that anyone can be brainwashed into a cult? It seems like people who get joined always say that anyone can get sucked in. Oh, I absolutely believe that. I 100% believed that every single human being, if you are an actual human being and not an AI robot, you are susceptible to having your reality altered to the point where you believe whatever this group is selling is the thing for you. And cults, guys, cults are not just Scientology and Nexium and all these other things, right? Est and Warren Jeffs and things like this, right? None of these things, the orgasm cult, and like there's so many cults. The Mother God lady who OD'd on the fucking blue shit, the methylene blue or whatever, right? Like There's the Twin Flames cult. I mean, like, guys, there's so many cults. Why are there so many cults? A person can lead a group of people as a cult. There are influencers who are running a cult. Look at Jared Leto. He has a cult. Okay. Cults. Let's look at CrossFit. Okay. Let's just take CrossFit as an example. CrossFit is a cult. Right? Look at the things that does it like Swifties are a cult. That's true. That's very true. Okay. Swifties are a cult. What she says has mysterious meaning. She has told us that everything that she says is definitely a message to her past self from her future self. And if you can decode it, then you will be prompted to buy all of the same album and different covers to place on a wall that becomes a clock. No, the People's Temple is gone after Jonestown, but that was a cult. Anybody can be sucked into a cult for any reason. Okay. If you, as an individual, design your life around a singular idea, phrase, a book, a set of books, that's a cult. If you can't do anything other than what a singular source tells you, that's a cult. No, Matthew McConaughey doesn't run a cult. That's Jared Leto. So anybody can be susceptible to any kind of cult. It's not always religious. Right? Look at the Twin Flames cult. It's not religious. It started out as like this married couple. We're going to explain to you why we're so successful in our marriage. We are each other's twin flame. And you too can find your twin flame. Now that little tiny sector of the universe, twin flames. Nora knows is a cult. It might be. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey. Hey. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Sorry, Stacey. I was reading your message to me in the oh, what? Coke versus Pepsi. We know who the winner is. Yes, Teal Swan. Yeah, but like, the Twin Flames cult. So that cult, if you guys follow it, what happened with that cult is like this couple guaranteed that they would find the one true person for you. And they have these retreats and they do all these things. Then what happened was, hot dog, they had more women than men. So now with these few people that are left, they're just pairing people up. This person's your twin flame. So now we have two women together and they assign one of the women as the masculine and the other as the feminine. And slowly but surely, these women who are assigned masculine have started to transition because their cult leader told them that they're actually a man. What? Yeah, no, that's not. If you're in a cult, please stop. If you do feel like you're in the wrong body and you were born a different way, that's totally fine. Make that choice for yourself, but do not let a cult leader tell you that. Yeah, the docuseries is wild. Definitely watch it. Definitely. It's fascinating and it's still going on. There's lawsuits. There's a whole bunch of things. Okay. They are not disbanded. Yeah. And then, yes, you are correct, Austrian Factor. Now they're in a religious spiritual zone. They started as like relationship advice and now it's all about Father God and, blah, blah, blah. That's how all these things, they eventually go to eternity, right? Because what was Dianetics? Guys, let's go back to the beginning. 1950, May 4th, 1950, L. Ron Hubbard puts out Dianetics, the science of the mind. Dianetics was a science. It was then it became an applied religious philosophy. But it started as a science. Okay? The science of the mind. Right? It was a science. Okay? And then what happened? We got into religion because L. Ron realized he didn't want to pay those taxes. Taxes are a lot, guys. Yeah, and when you're a religion, you don't got to pay no taxes. Hey, government, give me money. Give me that SNAP benefits. Guys, most people who work for a Church of Scientology are on SNAP. If you're an American, your tax dollars are feeding and providing medical care for the indentured servants inside of those buildings. They are on SNAP because they would not be able to eat. I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know. I'd have to Google that. Cults are always promising space travel. That's right. I know. No, I don't think he was sincere ever. It was a con from the beginning. He's just he's a carnival barker. He's a carnival barker. Always, always, always. Yes, they do, unless they're in Oregon, because we don't have sales tax here. So, guys, I hope this has brought some clarity. But when you have a former Scientology member who's written several books that are very good and helpful, and has helped a lot of people to deprogram themselves from Scientology, but will yet waste no opportunity to smash a literal survivor who probably should have died multiple times over in their life for the lack of healthcare, negligence, etc. For what end? To what end? To what end is this review, John? That's my real question. What does your review serve other than your own ego? Is it serving Scientology? I think so. Yes, I think so. Is it serving to protect you from the responsibility of your own actions and your contribution to Jamie's and the other thousands of children born into this movement's neglectful, horrific upbringing? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's something to think about, John. Because maybe you're feeling a little irrelevant now. I don't know. Maybe people aren't calling you as much to get your opinion about Scientology. Now they want to talk to Jamie, and he's going on the big boy shows and he's talking about his book. Right? But this book, guys, along with the protest movement, along with the work that Audit's doing, that Laura's doing, that everybody who calls in to the LA City Council is doing, that everybody who goes, Apostate Alex and his crew that go and march to St. Hill and go to those meetings, and T and everybody in Australia who's going to all of the police and the government there, and Miriam who's doing the work in Denmark, and Irish and fucking Haggis who are doing the work in Canada and in Great Britain. All of this, okay? That's the real shit. That's the real shit. Now, yes, there's always going to be people who need help. There's always going to be people who are be like, wow, who can help me sort my brain out through all of that? Maybe I should ask John Atack. Like, his book really helped me. Maybe I should contact him. Good, go do that. But what is going to create the biggest impact? What's going to get the public knowledge to understand what the fuck is going on in those buildings? Why people are standing outside saying it's a cult? This book. And all those other actions. Okay? I mean, like, really, guys. So if you can do me a huge favor and go to Amazon, go to Goodreads. If you've read this book, please leave it a review. Give it a review. Okay? OSA is working hard on review bombing right now, which means it's like, when something comes out as a movie. I'll give you an example. The show Wayward that came out on Netflix. Before it even aired the first episode, it was already at like 20% on Rotten Tomatoes because every single transphobe in the universe went and gave it a shit review because of the star, Mae Martin, and the fact that they are gender non-binary and a trans person. Mae's a great actor, and they're funny, and the show's good, and it's scary as fuck. Toni Collette is in it, so you already know it's gonna be twisted and fucked up. So yeah, I watched the whole series. It's very intense, very triggering for cult survivors. But yeah, I would for sure 100p absolutely recommend. But people wanted people to not see it because a trans person existed in it. This is exactly what's happening with Jamie's book, with Jenna's book, with Liz Gale's book, with all books authored by former Scientologists, that they're having people go in and say bullshit when they haven't even read it. Because let's face it, on Goodreads, on things like Amazon, people who don't know anything about Scientology, okay, they just, they don't understand. They just go to the reviews to see. No. Austrian Factor. Thank you for this comment. I'm going to pull it up here. Question. I read it and I didn't like it that much. In my opinion, it was weirdly overly artistic for an experience book. Okay. And guess what? That's okay. But that's your honest opinion after having read it. Now, let me ask you a question, though. Made a follow-up question to your comment here. Do you think that it gives you, as the reader, a full conceptual understanding of the abuse that Jamie and other people experienced as a child in Scientology and having grown up in that environment? I'll wait for there's like a delay. I know you just heard me say that, and now I'm waiting for your comment to come back. So I'm just going to wet my palate here. Yes. Okay. So you're not a fan of Jamie's writing style. Totally okay. But that's the point of the book. You got the point of the book, right? Whereas in John's review, he thinks that the point of the book was to tell him you're a bad, bad man. No, the point of the book, right? Partly. Okay. Now, see, this would be a good discussion to have. This is my suggestion for Jamie. Have like a book club and have people who've read the book come and talk to you about it and, have like an author discussion. I don't know. I'm not his publicist. I don't arrange these things. Okay. But the point of the book is to give you this information, make you think about it, make you understand. It's also like, yes, the way it's written, and because I know Jamie and we talked about this book for over a year before it was published, I knew some certain things about it before I read it, right? I knew about the time jumps, right? And by that I mean it's spoiler if you haven't read the book. Jamie's going to take you through his childhood and then to a later point in his life and then back in time to a point from his familial history. And it just shows how all these different intersections and possibilities and different people and things led to him being him, right? It's not told from like, well, my great-grandfather was a slave in a plantation, North Carolina, and then we moved down line, right? It's very like as if you're watching an episode of TV and there's a flashback. Okay. So if that's not your jam and you're like, I don't know what was happening, that's okay. But you still read the book. Now, let me ask you again. Now you're just in the hot street here, Austrian Factor. From reading this book, would you say, this is a very it's not a trick question, but would you say what he describes in here would be parental negligence on the part of his mother specifically, but on parents who, like his mother, had dedicated their lives to this movement for 1 billion years? Would you characterize the movement itself as something that promotes or demands, parental negligence, child abuse on their participants in order to have adherence to the movement's rules and regulations? See, and I yes, there were a bunch of Back to the Future moments. I'm just waiting for your response, Austrian Factor. Yes. Hey, Mad Drop Bear, good to see you here. And I saw From a Poet in here. Hi, Brian. Normally I hate time jumps, but the way Jamie did it was like context to explain. I enjoyed it also. Not just because Jamie's my friend. I enjoyed it because I'm a very visual person. When I read something, my imagination comes to life. Guys, look how long my hair's getting. Look at that. It's getting there. It's growing out. And so for me, it was like weaving this beautiful story, for me. Like watching a movie. That's how it I see it like this. Yes. Okay. This is where I take John Atack to task. If his critique were just of the writing, as you did at first, it wasn't your cup of tea. That would be one thing, right? But to basically say and mock the terms that he uses by putting baby factory in quotes and things like that shows to me that he thinks that all of that was okay. Even though he says that other people, his interviews with them, and that is an accurate description of their upbringing, it doesn't matter. Because later he fulfilled his contract. So I guess that just negates the abuse that he had. And that's mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling to me. Right? That's the part that I don't get. Oh, you got the audiobook. Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah, when you get an author to tell you the story, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that way. But this is what I'm saying, guys. It's like we have a generation of people who got into Scientology, got hooked on a feeling. No, that is reading it. It's 2025. If you listen to an audiobook, you read the book. That's how that goes. Yeah. I'm with you on this, Haggis. ATAC was okay with the book that talks about a grown adult passionately kissing a young child, but has a problem with Jamie's book. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. I just think I get it. I get it too. Like, this is a lot of big feelings. You can see that he has a lot of big feelings in his review that he should work out with his therapist about it. He feels very attacked. Does not like being called a devil. And is really cherry-picked that part. Really cherry-picked that part. Right? As I pointed out in my reading of the book here. It is unfortunate to me that such a prominent expert in the field of Scientology and cults in general would take time out of their busy schedule to write a very verbose, scathing review of something that calls out the abuse that was perpetrated on children for generations, is still being perpetrated today on children. If you guys missed Alex Apostate's post, he has a post of children who are holding a sign saying, I'm joining the Sea Org. Okay? They're still doing it. For all those people who are like, well, there's no more children in Scientology since 1994. Whatever the fuck they say. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? So how do we combat this? If you have read the book and you can leave a review, please leave a review on Amazon, on Goodreads. Okay? Go in and leave those. And if you can help me, totally separate subject, with my legal defense fund, boop, it's right there. Or my mods have put in my link tree. God damn it. Menopause, man. Or you can go to my Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Everything's Oh No Nora except for Cash App, which is Oh No Nora 76. Yeah. So that's that there, guys. Any more questions? Let me scroll through here. Yeah, I don't understand this either, Bernadette. Right? How can you give someone a 1-star review when you say what they wrote is accurate? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Thank you, Jojo. Boop. There's my GoFundMe. I still need to give the lawyer money. Please help. Please help me. I'm poor. And this is my link tree. It's got everything. Guys, go buy something fun from my store. You know. I have another stream coming up, guys. I got to talk to you guys about something else. I want to keep this one just about Child X, John A. Tax review. We're going to come back here in a little bit. I did not tell my mods, but I'm coming right back. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about some big fifis and another email I got. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for listening to my members. Thank you so much for supporting me for all these years. I literally could not be here without you. And thank you as always to my lady mods. Oh, no, Mad Drop Air. I'm not going back to the garage. I'm in a new studio now. This is a bookshelf that my wife had up. It's a floating shelf. I won't be using that in the background. I'm going to put other stuff back here. And yeah. When am I coming back? Rocks. When am I coming back on? I gotta go use the ladies, the loo. And then I will be right back. So probably around 3:15, I'll set it up. Yeah. It is easier to convince a child that they're responsible for the entire universe and all mankind. And if they don't do it, their parents will be in big, big trouble. Than it is to convince an adult. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Because also kids are not in debt yet. So they can just come right away. All right, guys. Thank you again. Please go leave those reviews on Amazon and Goodreads if you can. Get the book, guys. Get my link. Get the book. And I will see you all, you know where, on the flippity day.